The United States, Mexico.
What do you love about Mexico?
Food is delicious.
10 Ekers dancing. It consists of walking in place while sometimes and occasionally spinning around.
The marketplace was really cool. It's definitely a tourist trap, but like we definitely fed into that because the first place we went was Joey Ekers and I were walking through like a little shop, and I had this owl thing. Then I told myself I didn't want to spend that kind of money on something I felt like I could buy at like a Target. And then I saw this chicken made out of like basically paper mache, and it has like all of its body parts are kind of like dangling, so it kind of wobbles, and it's just really ridiculous. And I picked it up and I was like, I'm gonna buy this.
The park was just an interesting atmosphere. We don't have that like here.
Yeah, there's like 3 blocks of this huge park.
Yeah.
And there's so many people there.
Ice cream shops on like every single corner of the park, just because it's like family oriented there. So like everyone's playing with everyone. It didn't matter if you like knew how to talk to them, they still let you come and play.
So they had the piñata up, and Ron told me to hit it, so they like spun me around way too many times. And then I had the blindfold on, and they put me in front of the piñata, and then they kept dropping the piñata on my head. And then at one point, he hit me the first time, and I fell on the ground. And then he just kept hitting me with it while I was on the ground. I was rolling around in like the dust, trying to hit this piñata. Ooh, it was so funny.
And the foot game that we played in the circle was like insanely fun.
The people, 100%.
No one's really a stranger for too long. You get to know them and then they become family.
Like it's like you were like meant to be
you like
there.
step in and it's like,
Oh, it's like a warm hug.
They really is. It's like a family.
Yeah.
And it's like a bunch of people that you've never met before who don't speak the same language as you, don't look like you, and it's like a family.
You know, we come from entirely different nations, entirely different backgrounds, and you give it one day and everyone just kind of hangs out and is treated like family.
You build those relationships over time, and that's what makes it so special. But yeah, definitely the relationships. I mean, I don't even have to think for a second about that.
I absolutely adore the Moreno family. I think they're a wonderful family. If I ever were to go for adoption, I would want them to adopt me.
The entire Moreno family, of course, they're awesome. And Sarah and Cynthia and all the neighborhood like kid boys or whatever, those are some cool kids there. I love Michael and even the people I haven't mentioned because I'm really bad with names. But those kind of people, I think about that a lot.
That like entire family is just they're there for God, and like and they care.
Yeah, and when they like invited us to their house and had a bonfire, and we just danced like a bunch of weirdos. Yeah, and for 5 minutes we had like a dance rave in Mexico at our mission trip, and it was a ton of fun because this like great family invited us into their.
Let's talk about the language barrier.
Okay.
I met someone who has the same name as me, and I'm like, that's so cool, but I try to say, I like your name, but I accidentally said, I like your man.
When we were at the hospital, we were giving out sandwiches to the families and all the people that were in the hospital. Security guard came up and I don't know, I think he was just chatting. And I didn't really think it all the way through. I meant to ask him if he wanted one, which is quieres, like, do you want it? and I told him te quiero, which is I want you, basically I love you. So I told the security guard that I loved him. Still on brand, you know, we do love him, but maybe not the right time to tell him.
I met a little boy and we were playing carpet ball, and I was trying to like talk and make like a conversation, and I was not doing good. I was like butchering things. He's like kind of giggling and laughing, like, does he not understand what I'm saying? And then he introduces himself to me in English, perfect English, and I was like, well, I just stood here for 5 minutes and made a fool of myself to this boy who speaks perfect English.
There were like several other people that spoke English, and they were really like willing to like let you like learn and like try to speak slowly to them or something like that.
I don't know, it's a lot of pointing, a lot of like speaking slow.
It's nice that we all have hand gestures.
We still made really, really good friends and like met amazing people.
I don't know, I think sometimes we think that language is a bigger barrier than what it really is. When a smile, just kind gestures can really go a long way to helping understand someone. And that's what I think that's what I've always seen down there, is the language barrier kind of fades away when there's heart involved.
It is a barrier in trying to grow that relationship, but I don't think it is when we're all worshiping our God. When we're worshiping and they're worshiping in Spanish and we're worshiping in English, we're worshiping the same God, and there's no barrier whatsoever.
I love any time that you get to sing and be in a group and do corporate worship. We were down there, and two of the girls were with us one night, and out of nowhere, Jasmine, I'm going to use you, right? I can do that?
Yeah.
They won't know that you're the one doing it?
They know I'm the one doing
Okay,
it.
well, regardless. So Jasmine brought out her guitar. We were just singing songs and doing different things, and we got into worship songs that we know. And it was just really awesome to get to worship the same God with people who speak a different language, just to kind of show how big God is.
I've never been with a group of people where you can pull out a ukulele or a guitar and a box that I don't know what it's called, but a box, and end up with what you're singing is worship songs. I thought that was super cool.
And it was just cool like seeing how like we don't know each other's languages, but we can still praise God, and like God has no language barrier, so like you can still praise him and like everything, and it was just so cool to like experience that.
For the construction part in Piedras Negras, where we were at, I tiled showers. So I just cut tile and grouted tile all day for like a lot. It was a lot, but it was fun. It was awesome.
We were trying to kind of finish a lot of things within that main building that they have in there. At some days, like the first day I started off texturing, which I've never even heard of before this trip, and me and Kate did that for a while. Then we would mud, and there were people sanding, which looked like the worst job, so I definitely did not do that. Yeah.
I stained some wood, just painted some stain on some wood.
We painted the whole time.
Yeah, we painted.
Like the entire time.
Yeah.
So we went to Casa de Paz and need to put up this wall, but we have this giant like tile like box sitting there that you have to go around. Jasmine and I ended up outside cutting the wood, and so we're sitting out there, and there's these cute dogs in the yard next door. Okay, and I've got a tape measure, and there's only like one tree blocking me, so just start to pull out the tape measure, and slowly but steadily the dogs, eventually you get to pet them with the tape measure once it gets far enough.
I'm not skilled labor at all. Like I can't do anything well when it comes to the projects. So I'm there to help, but I'm definitely down there for the relationships, and I think that's a big part of what missions trips are for, and what a big part of what people miss is that you're not just there to get as much done as possible. You're there to grow with those people, and as we teach them stuff, to learn a lot from them, because I learned so much from them. The second year I went to an orphanage with a group of these teenage girls, and so I went, and we went 2 separate days to teach them English, and It was an awesome time. It was a blast. The most powerful part came on the last day we were with them. We were getting ready to go back to where we were staying, and they said, no, it's only, I forget what time it was, but we were leaving 15 minutes early, so they're like, no, we have 15 more minutes. So we stayed and we played this kind of weird game that they taught us, and it was fun. Then when it was actually time to leave, they ran back in and came back out with their notebooks. Someone that spoke both Spanish and English said, hey, they want you to sign it for them and leave them a note. And we were with them for a select few amount of hours. It was not that long, but the fact that they had someone to love on them for that short amount of time, and that was something that I'll never forget. On the drive back, all of us were dead silent. It was a surreal moment and it was really sad, but it was powerful because you know that you never know what kind of impact you can have on someone.
One of an eye-opening thing for me, it was hard to see. It's a special needs home where they're not treated the same as they do here. Kind of when they find out that they're special needs or handicapped or anything like that, they just kind of toss them aside and just leave them. The first year I went, they were all in their rooms, and several were tied up onto their chairs because they were afraid they were going to hurt someone. As time went on, I realized that was kind of my passion for that community of people. That's one of my favorite places to go when we go down to Mexico for the missions trip, is just seeing them, because the way their face lights up when you just love on them. Just playing games. This year as we got to dance with them, and they enjoyed it, and just tossing a ball could mean the world to them. So
Each individual ad gets added up as far as what's happening, and eventually you get to something that's great.
If I can help out so that they can focus on something much bigger than painting the inside of the house. There's things that need to be done to move in God's kingdom, and if painting a house is one way to help further that, I'm gonna paint a house.
It's not like we were just painting a house. I'd made a lot of relationships with people I wouldn't have seen if I hadn't painted that house.
We did bond with a lot of people while painting.
I think the idea with mission trips is people often think that we're bringing God to people, and I don't think that's it. We're following God to countries, and we're helping with the church that He already has planted there. So it's kind of cool to just get to worship the same God with people who've been in entirely different places. And also, when you're in Mexico, the language is different, the society is different, culture is different, so you don't really have a choice except to rely on God.
Brad always used to think, he says he always used to think that if you can't do ministry here, why go down there and do it? But then he said he learned that, maybe going down there and doing it will teach you how to do it here. And I think that's kind of the same with relationships. Who knew I would have been able to create a relationship with people who don't even speak the same language as me? And so doing that makes me feel like there isn't anyone here that I can't love on and maybe start a relationship with.
Just kind of cool to see just how much something can impact you and mean to you in 6 days.
I definitely think they don't realize the kind of impact they have on our lives. I don't know if I've touched on that enough, where every year it gets worse to leave, because every year I get closer with them. And I'm talking about all of them. Even Julio I don't think he was there the first year, but he's someone who I've really grown with too.
Julio is someone who comes out of a very rough background, who now feels like family. So much so that on the last day when we're leaving, he's crying. And the thing he said to me, I think this kind of encapsulates every feeling, whether they're from here or from there. I was like, Julio, it's gonna be all right, man. We'll be back before you know it. And his words were, "There's just something special about this group, man. Just something special about this group." I think that's those growth things, seeing things come out of nowhere that become key and foundational parts of a group, of a church, of a ministry, of a mission, whatever it may be. I feel like this is the thing I need to say. If you're watching whatever this is that Jasmine puts together, and you feel like, man, that's something I want to experience, I would say yes, you do, and you should. I've seen this week do big things, little things, make people cry, make people laugh, make people can't wait to go back, and I've watched it also change their course of their relationship and their walk with Christ. So if you're thinking about it, do it.
Everyone that I've gone on these mission trips to Mexico with has come away a different person than what they started out with.
I think any excuse not to go is a little bit, it's almost not enough.
Don't worry, because like if you're meant to go,
God will make a way.
Do it.